Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me on the Sea Files. Normally, I'd be doing a devotion at this point in time, but we wake up this morning to a tragic event that occurred overnight, and I'll be doing the reporting out of the Epoch Times on this so that we stay accurate on what occurred. Plane crash occurred, went down into Potomac River over in Washington, D.C. area. And here's what the Epoch Times is reporting. Many feared dead as plane carrying 64 crashes near Washington. Teams are searching for survivors in the Potomac River after a military helicopter collided with a passenger plane from Kansas. Search and rescue teams are still searching for survivors after a regional passenger plane carrying 64 people collided with a military helicopter and crashed into the Potomac River in Arlington, Virginia, near the Ronald Reagan National Airport on Wednesday night. The Federal Aviation Administration confirmed in a statement that a Bombardier CRJ-700 plane and a Sikorsky H-60 helicopter collided in the skies at around 9 p.m. Eastern Time. American Eagle Flight 5342, operated by PSA Airlines, a wholly owned subsidiary of American Airlines, was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members while making an approach to land at Reagan Airport in Crystal City, Virginia, about 5 miles from Washington. The plane had departed from Wichita, Kansas. Authorities have so far released no details of any deaths. Senator Roger Marshall, Republican of Kansas, said that most, if not all, of those on board have likely passed away. It's hard, this is a quote from the senator, it's really hard when you lose probably over 60 Kansans simultaneously. And he further said, when one person dies, it's a tragedy, but when many, many, many people die, it's an unbearable sorrow. It's a heartbreak beyond measure. Audio from Live ATC Net, a source for in-flight recordings, captured what appears to be the final communications between the 3 crew members of the helicopter, call sign Pat 25, before it collided with the plane, which was referred to as CRJ in the recording. Quote, Pat 25, do you have a CRJ in sight? Pat 25 passed behind the CRJ, end quote. An air traffic controller said at 8:47 p.m. on Wednesday. Seconds later, another aircraft called into air traffic control saying, Tower, did you see that? Air traffic control then redirected planes heading to runway 33 at Reagan Washington National Airport to go around. Quote, crash, 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 this is an alert 3, end quote. One of the air traffic controllers can be heard saying in the audio from around the time of the crash. Quote, I don't know if you caught earlier what happened, but there was a collision on the approach into 33. We're going to be shutting down operations for the indefinite future, end quote, another controller said. Quote, both the helicopter and the plane crashed in the river, a third air traffic controller stated. Quote, it's probably out in the middle of the river, end quote, the controller added. I just saw a fireball and then it was just gone. I haven't seen anything since they hit the river, but it was a CRJ and a helicopter that hit, end quote. Reports of some who were aboard the passenger plane have already begun to emerge. U.S. Figure Skating issued a statement early on Thursday morning saying that several members of our skating community were sadly aboard American Airlines Flight 5342. The organization said that they were devastated by the unspeakable tragedy. These athletes, coaches, and family members were returning home from the National Development Camp held in conjunction with the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Wichita, Kansas, end quote, it said in a statement. Russia's state-owned news agency TASS reported that a pair of Russian world champion figure skaters were aboard the plane. Coaches Evgenia Shishkova, 53, and Vadim Numov, 56, won the world championship in 1994. President Donald Trump said in a statement on Wednesday that he has been fully briefed on the terrible accident which just took place at Reagan National Airport. May God bless their souls. Thank you for the incredible work being done by our first responders, Trump said. I am monitoring the situation and will provide more details as they arise. Trump did put out a statement on social media. I'll bring that up for you. I will find that real quick here. Trump, 29 minutes, let's see, when was this put out? 7 hours ago, I don't know if this was tweeted out or if it was on X. I mean, if it was on Truth Social. What a terrible night this has been. God bless you all. And then he further put out this 7 hours ago. The plane was on a perfect and routine line of approach to the airport. The helicopter was going straight at the airplane for an extended period of time. It is a clear night. The lights on the plane were blazing. Why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of asking if they saw the plane? This is a bad situation. It looks like it should have been prevented. Not good. There is an unconfirmed report that this particular helicopter had its transponder turned off. That's confirmed. I can't verify that if that's true or not. But this is a tragic event, and so I couldn't pass up this morning without coming on YouTube and reporting on it. Now, there is a recording. I'll see if I can find the recording, and hopefully this will come through. Let me make sure that, okay. Now, hopefully you'll be able to hear this when I play it. I'm not getting anything. Okay. Should be playing and I'm not getting anything. Let me try it again. Okay, let's try again. And nothing's coming through. Okay. Sorry, folks. I don't know why the recording is not coming through. But I had that, and then I can't get it now. So anyway, it's just basically what I read to you out of the article. So let's keep these folks in mind. It's a tragic event, tragic loss of life. Most of these situations, car crashes, I've learned from experience over the years of doing law enforcement, are human error. Sometimes it's mechanical error. That can happen. Even in car crashes, you have problems that occur with cars from time to time that can cause a crash. But most of the time, it's human error. And so hopefully we learn from our mistakes and don't repeat these tragedies. But being human beings, we tend to not always learn from our mistakes, unfortunately. So let's keep these folks in prayer. Now, in other news, there's a report here, unconfirmed, that Interpol has arrested an Israeli citizen named Yuval Alter, and it's going to cycle back. This is out of TikTok, so I'll take it with a grain of salt. Leader of one of the largest child trafficking rings in the world, asked why it will barely make the news. So this is unconfirmed. Don't know if this is true, but it was put out on social media, so I thought I would share it with you and let you know that that was put out on social media. But we have, there's not, I have not been able to confirm it. So they're talking about using Guantanamo Bay to put migrants or illegal aliens. Pete Hegseth backs up Trump on the decision to use Guantanamo Bay and says he knows exactly where the illegal aliens would be kept. He says, I served there. I know the places where this would happen. Guantanamo Bay has long been a place for migrants. In fact, in the 90s, he says tens of thousands of Haitian and Cuban migrants staged there as a part of a crisis. We have an even bigger crisis on our hands now. Of course, who was president in the 90s? That would have been Barack Obama. Now, there are fires that have started up in these brush fires in North Carolina, western North Carolina. Apparently one is near Bat Cave. This is a report, once again, on TikTok. So I don't know anything about what percentage of control they have over the fires or anything of that nature. But not only are there fires in California, now there are fires in western North Carolina. So this kind of stuff keeps happening, folks. But we're going to have to learn how to get a handle on this stuff and stop. We can't be messing around with these kind of potential threats, natural disasters, fires. And even the threat coming across our border. We can't mess around with this stuff. It's time for adults to take control and start taking the responsibility of working toward keeping people safe. All right. Is there anything else? I don't understand why that one video doesn't want to work. Let me... Okay, that's video from the case in the camera. And it came through my thing, so I need to turn that off. All right. And when I turn this off, it doesn't come on there for some reason. I don't know why. All right, so that's where we are. Kennedy is going to be in his confirmation hearing today. So that there should be more on that. And who else? Someone else is having a confirmation here today, but I can't remember who that was. So as these confirmations go through, we'll talk about those. Military going on the border. Let me talk about that for just a moment. There is a history of military being on our southern border. That was during the time of General Pershing. From the 1800s, after the Civil War, up until the early 1900s, a large contingency of U.S. military were on the border, protecting the border. Pancho, I can't remember his name, a Mexican, he was kind of like their version of a Mexican cartel. What we would call Mexican cartel today, that's what he was back then. And he was coming across the border and creating havoc across into the United States, across the border. So they tasked General Pershing to go after him. As a matter of fact, a very famous general, George Patton, was a part of that. And Patton was really one of the reasons why they had such amazing success in that operation. But they went after this cartel, if you will, Pancho. I can't remember his full name. And they successfully took him down. And they did it in Mexico. They crossed the border into Mexico to go after this guy because he came across the border into the United States and attacked U.S. citizens. And so that was enough for us to go into Mexico and take this guy down. So there has been a history of this kind of thing happening before. Will it happen now? Will we take the full force of the military and go after these cartels? From every indication that the administration is putting out, and from what Tom Homan is putting out, it sure sounds like that's probably what is going to happen. But of course, unverified. But they're putting out a lot of signals that the gloves are off and we're coming after you, cartels. The fact that they were shooting at Border Patrol, that the Border Patrol got into a firefight. Well, they ambushed Border Patrol agents and shot their vehicle up, and Border Patrol agents returned fire. That incident, along with the fact that in San Diego sector, there have been civilians shot by these cartels. As you know, the Pacific Crest Trail begins at the border of Mexico in San Diego, and it goes all the way to Canada through California, through Oregon, and through Washington State into Canada. And it's people every year take about 3 to 4 months, to hike that trail. And some are section hikers where they'll do a section of the trail. Some will hike the entire trail. And there's hundreds of people every year that they go on that trail to hike it. It's a very popular thing for backpackers to do. And I have been on the beginning of the Pacific Crest Trail, right there where these incidents occur. And I hiked initially as a section hike, 26 miles of it, going up to Marina Lake in San Diego area. And it was an awesome hike. Desert, very difficult terrain, and one water source in 26 miles. So you had to pack a lot of water with you during that particular trek. Otherwise, you're going to dehydrate and have serious issues, and they'd have to bring a helicopter in to pull you out for medevac. At any rate, I've been on that trail where they're saying that these incidents have occurred. I think there was a mountain biker that was shot. I don't know if they were wounded or if they passed away. And there was a hiker that was shot. These are the two incidents I've heard of. And so these things are enough to enrage the American people. It's enough to, especially with this current administration, to set them off and say, that's it, we're done. We're not messing around with you anymore. We're coming after you. And like I said, they have the General Pershing going after Pancho incident where they have that historically where they can say, this is not the first time this has happened, and this is not the first time there's been an incursion into Mexico to go after someone like this. So I fully suspect that not only are we going to bolster the southern border, but that we are going to go full-blown hellfire and brimstone on the cartels. And I don't think we're going to really care if they're in Mexico or in America at this point. So this should be interesting how this develops. If I were the cartels, I don't think I would want the full force of the U.S. military coming after me. I would not want drones taking me out. I would not want, missiles coming in and taking out my home because I'm a cartel member or the head of a cartel. I would not want jets coming across and strafing, with 50 caliber machine guns and so forth, my little cartel compound. I would not want the 82nd Airborne, 101st Airborne, 10th Mountain Group, Marine infantry divisions out of Camp Pendleton coming after me. That would be a firefight that the cartels, it would be the toughest firefight they'd ever have in their history. And the losses that they would have, because cartels might have armored vehicles, but they don't have air support. They don't have Abrams tanks. They don't have the resources that U.S. military has. So these people run around saying, oh, the cartels will create havoc and leave them alone. They'll create havoc. You're the same people that would not face a bully when you were in school. You just let the bully run over you. No, we're bigger, we're stronger, and we're more powerful than the cartels. Trust me. And if they want to pick that fight, which they already have, then they will have fire and brimstone coming down on top of their heads. And so just prepare, because I believe that is exactly what might be coming. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining me at C-Files. And just continue to pray for the folks that have lost so much in this tragedy of the plane and the helicopter going down. God bless you guys, and I'll see you next time on the C-Files.